This is a freshly dried sock so stiff that it can stand up on its own. When brand new, it was soft, springy, and had a snug fit. But after a few washes, it either becomes stiff as a board or loose as a sack. We're both washing socks, so why does your mom's laundry come out soft and fragrant, while yours ends up like a frozen fish that's been air dried for 3 days? Today we're going to get to the bottom of these rock-hard socks. Here's a yellowish crusty sock fresh from the line when dropped on the ground. It can literally stand upright. So why does this happen? Actually, socks are quite different from your regular clothes. Stuffed in shoes all day, your dainty feet sweat out salt oils and dead skin, all of which get trapped deep in the fiber sea. That's why many people go all out when washing socks. They're ruthless, using extra detergent, soaking them longer, and scrubbing harder, as if using every ounce of their primordial strength. But does washing more aggressively really mean cleaner socks? Not necessarily if you overdo the detergent and don't rinse it out completely. It actually leaves a heavy residue on the fibers. Once the socks dry, the fibers get glued together by this residues, turning the texture from soft to rock hard. Cleaning journals confirm this. Using more detergent doesn't mean a cleaner wash. Interestingly, our parents' generation tended to use detergent sparingly when washing clothes, which ironically helped them avoid this very problem. Now you might ask, but what if I don't use that much detergent? Why are my socks still stiff? That's because it also has a lot to do with your water hardness. Simply put, hard water means water with a high mineral content, specifically elements like calcium and magnesium. These minerals are usually undetectable in the water, but once they interact with detergents and fibers, they build up on the fibers layer by layer, making socks and other garments naturally feel rougher and stiffer over time. Now, most of us prefer to wash our socks by hand, which makes it difficult to wring them out thoroughly afterwards. This might seem trivial, so what if they're a bit wetter and just need a little more time to dry? In reality, the slower the socks dry, the more likely that leftover detergent sweat salts and water minerals will remain trapped in the fibers. Plus, when you hang them right after hand washing as they dry, the fibers stay still and gradually stiffen into shape. They end up becoming flatter and harder, like we mentioned in previous episodes. Machines wash cleaner than hand scrubbing, and the same goes for socks. Recently, I've been participating in a featured creator selection event. Please head over to Douyin Selection and cast a few votes for me, much appreciated. This doesn't mean washing machines use some mysterious high-tech sorcery. Their cleaning principle is actually quite simple and down-to-earth. It's all about brute force rinsing out residues more thoroughly, thinning them drier and fluffing the fibers back up. The issue with hand washing is you scrub really hard at the start. Then you just do 2 quick rinses and call it a day. But a machine's automated cycle is better at completing the washing, rinsing, and spinning steps, especially the spinning part. Once it builds up speed, it removes far more moisture than you ever could by wringing. With less water after spinning, there's less residue and it dries faster. Naturally, your socks are less likely to end up feeling like a stiff rag. But after being washed too many times, socks end up feeling like old rags, though not everyone finds that unacceptable. At least sock merchants are already laughing all the way to the bank. Socks are the #1 consumable in the apparel category. Global sock consumption is set to reach $49.48 billion in 2025 and is projected to grow to $73.8 billion by 2033. China has a massive population, which means a lot of feet to cover. Zhejiang alone produces about 25 billion pairs of socks a year, accounting for over 70 of the national total. As the old saying goes, where there's demand, there's a market. And if there isn't any, you create it. Socks today wear out and lose their shape easily. Aside from improper washing methods, they really are becoming less durable. The culprit behind this is closely tied to the rise of fast fashion. It subconsciously conditions us to see socks as throwaway items once they're worn out. After all, they're cheap. In the pursuit of rock-bottom prices and speed, brands cut as many corners as possible on raw materials. Consequently, socks sag, thin out, and lose their elasticity faster. Specifically, the spandex responsible for stretch is sensitive to heat and repeated washing. Over time, the elasticity fades, causing loose cuffs and saggy socks. So, for the lazy ones among us, the simplest solution is to just use a washing machine, provided your jade feet are healthy and free of fungal infections. So instead of making life harder for yourself, why not take the easy way out? If you're genuinely concerned about hygiene, check out our previous videos on washing machines. Of course, if the idea still grosses you out, and you feel they must be hand-washed yet, don't want them turning into rags, then you need to be more selective when buying them. At the very least, you should learn to read care labels if it says 30 degrees C. Then try to avoid washing your socks in hot water. While high temperatures do help eliminate microbes, for many socks containing elastic fibers, they tend to lose elasticity faster and shrink more easily. Also, you need to be careful when drying them. Avoid excessive sun exposure, which can damage the fibers. If possible, it's best to opt for low temperature drying or air drying in the shade. By doing so, clothes and socks with spandex or printsole will last a bit longer. Ultimately, the fact that socks deform after washing is both a material inevitability and a byproduct of business logic. We just have to live with it. It's not like you can knit your own at home anyway. But next time you buy socks, don't just go for the 10 pairs for 99 yuan deals. Check the cotton percentage and see if they use high quality spandex. Even if they're a bit pricier, consider the cost per wear. It might actually be a better bargain. Life is already full of enough hard challenges as it is. Don't let the socks on your feet add to that frustration.